So in my table right now is my very first RC car, the Tamiya Hilux. So when I built this one, I use a Futaba stick transmitter with a Futaba ESC. So in this video, I'm going to change this stick transmitter to a pistol grip and change the ESC and motor combination. So recently I've just upgraded my TRX4. So in this video we are going to use the Titan 21 turn motor and the XL5 ESC, and I'm not sure if this one will fit inside because it's quite long, because the motor inside is a 540, but let's figure out how to install it. And for the radio, you know, this stick transmitter is kind of weird. I find it weird, so I'm going to change it to a 3-channel. I'm going to use this Flysky GT3B. This one is a 3-channel transmitter. So for this Tamiya Hilux you need a 3-channel because you have a 3-speed transmission system, so you need the 3rd channel for it. So before we proceed, so I need to talk about the why I'm changing this transmitter. Mainly because of the when you're going to a low speed, mid or high speed, you need to move the stick here, and then you go forward and you go backward. So in the event that you are not you're supposed to be fully left or fully right or in the middle. So what happens is that when you're halfway, what happens is maybe inside your transmission the gears are not aligned properly, so you end up spoiling them. And this one is really weird when you're trying to do here. That's why I'm changing it to a three position switch transmitter, so it's kind of better. So if you want to low, just stay low, and then you just take care of the forward and backward, unlike this one that you have to hold it here and then move forward and backward. And okay, so this we're going to start. So it seems we'll be having problem because the 550 can motor is really long, so I think we have a lot of chopping to do here. In this build, I noticed that this ESC, you need to have access to this button for you to turn it on, unlike the original, the Futaba. You have a switch that you can attach, but this one don't have, so you must have an access to this one. So when you see inside here, behind, there's a very big gap in there, so your finger can go in. Okay, so you just have to put it on the other side, so it will be like this. So the battery will come out, will be here, so it will then be attached here, and then this motor will be catching up it. I think it's the wiring should be enough to reach in there. Okay, so we're going to put it this way, so we just have to find a way to mount it here. Maybe here should be okay. See the motor here. I think that's how we're going to put it inside. And maybe the radio receiver will be here. Okay, let's see. Let's put first the motor. So changing this motor is it's not easy, because you see you cannot just lift the whole transmission, and you see this plate, you have 1, 2, 3, and so one more screw inside, 4 screws. So I even take out the bumper because my screwdriver cannot reach. But then after I remove, you see, it cannot come out, and there are some 2 screws in there. So we will end up, also need to remove this one in the transmission, for the transmission. So okay, let's do it. After applying all my tools at my disposal and using all ancient techniques, I cannot able to remove it. So well, I guess I have to go to the long route. I have to no choice but to dismantle my transmission box there. So yeah, it will be very long. You need to remove all the screw, need to dismantle everything so you can lift it up. And maybe, yeah, I remember, I think I will take this time also to change all the bushings into bearings. So I just have to proceed with it. Okay, so here's the famous Tamiya 3-speed transmission system. I see from inside those bushings are still okay because they are not exposed to the elements. So what I'm going to do here is I'll just replace this bush, this bearing here is bushing, and then on the other side and on the top one, because they're the ones that are exposed to dust. I think the others I just keep it there because they still look good, and it's actually very hard to remove again and then install back. You should be having the bearing from during the first time you're doing it, so it's kind of not lazy to remove it and then change back. Okay, change my mind, so I'm going to change all. Anyway, I'm already here. I already dismantled everything, so I'm going to change all these bushings to ball bearings. This is what I observed. So last time, you see this discoloration in here, right, inside here. So meaning last time this plastic was rotating in this hole. So if we don't, so that's what happens if you are using these bushings, because if some dirts go in the shaft, then it will not rotate freely, so you will end up making this thing rotate, and then eventually your plastic will be worn out and you'll be spoiling a expensive transmission. I think this one makes the Tamiya kit expensive, but I don't know why they never give us bearings. Instead they give us with some bushings that will spoil. So I guess this is an evidence that we really need to change to ball bearings. Okay, so this is what happened now. So as you can see, I chopped a bit in there. So now there's an opening, so you just have to cover up after we put things in place. Then here, the shaft of the Titan motor is quite long, so I had to reverse the pinion gear, and I end up making a hole here because it's going out. Okay, so before we put this one back into the chassis, we just have to open up and check our controller, and we have to test everything before we make sure the electronics works, then we can continue. Okay, so we got this manual. Later I have to read it because I still don't know This one I never used before, so I have to read this manual first. Okay, so it looks much better. Oh my god, it needs 8 batteries, so this one is hungry. Okay, so let me put some battery here and try to power up this one. Okay, so the manual says the transmitter and receiver have been pre-bound before delivery. So I guess I just have to connect everything. Then we try. Okay, so wow. Okay, it's working. What's that scratching? I think I need to make a bigger hole here. In here, so that when the pinion gear rotates, it will not touch the cover. And now we are going to attach this one in here, so I'll be drilling 2 holes. So it's attached in there. It's quite steady. You see, it's reversed because it's easier to put the nut. If you put it underneath, it will be a bit hard to reach. Okay, and then now if you can see, the wires are long, so it can reach the receiver. So the 3-speed shifter will be going back into its original place, and then we are going to use this box for our receiver. So there's a hole in here, so all the wirings will go inside it, and maybe I will make a hole for the antenna. Okay, going to see, this one is the cover, so I'm going to use a double-sided tape this thing inside here. I'll put it here so that it will not be directly under this hole, and the shift servo will go straight. But for the ESC and the steering servo, I'm going to use this splitter cables because I'm using light control for this truck. So this one will go to my light controller, which is actually installed here. So maybe I'll check if it still can reach, or maybe I need to position it further. So okay, so it looks like this. So this plate will be going on top, but I see from here it just barely touches the wire of the motor, so I'll just create a small opening in there, then it should be okay.